A new figure has emerged from the shadows, introducing themselves as the Odyssey. But while she may be full of secrets, a massive hand ripping through the island's surface threatens to unleash the Greek underworld. With a whole lot of leaks on Season 2, we've got a lot to dive into. So without further ado, consider using my code TLL the Reaper in the item shop, and let's go crack open this mystery. Our final update of Chapter 5 Season 1 released last Thursday, and while we were expecting some storyline buildup, we did not anticipate what we ended up seeing. First off, Peely is rescued and the society has crumbled, but that's for a video of its own, so stay tuned for that in the near future. What we will be talking about today are all of the teasers and leaks pointing towards a full-on Greek mythology themed season. To start, let's recap what our main antagonist of the season, Valeria, has been up to. As our tier 100 outfit, Valeria is a member of the society. Just like the rest of the members, she has her very own location, which is Reckless Railways. Within this POI, Valeria has a study with tons of bookshelves lining the walls. Her sole goal is to learn everything she can, because after all, knowledge is power. But earlier in the season, upon looking closer at her desk, we could find an open book on a podium, showing drawings of what looks to be a chest. Earlier this season, we theorized that Valeria was trying to search for Fortnite's equivalent of Pandora's box, which is a box given to Pandora by Zeus, holding all evils of humanity. Eventually, Pandora opened this box, unleashing all of the evils inside out into the world. And as it turns out, we were completely right about the chest. Fast forward to the present, Valeria has been traveling across the island with a telescope, attempting to scope out where this powerful chest may be. And while she hasn't found it just yet, we know that in the coming weeks, she eventually will. Our latest update introduces us to a leaked map change, and it is probably one of the craziest things we've seen since the Devourer. On the outskirts of Ruined Reels, a massive arm is going to rip through the ground, with Valeria's box dangling from its wrist. This is a huge reveal, and you're probably asking what this even is, so let me explain. In Greek mythology, there were a group of 12 enormous beings called the Titans. They existed before the Olympians, which is to say, before all of the gods and goddesses. Each of these Titans were in charge of something major. For example, Cronus was the Titan of Time. In the files for this massive hand in the ground, we can find that it's actually titled Titan Hand, confirming that this is the hand of a massive Titan underneath the Chapter 5 map. First off, that is absolutely insane. Titans are enormous, so it's likely completely buried under wherever this island lies. Second, this is beginning to confirm our suspicions that Season 2 is going to be themed after Greek mythology. An unknown Greek Titan is ripping its arm through the surface of our island and dangling a box from its wrist that seems to heavily resemble Pandora's box, the exact ancient relic that Valeria has been searching for all season long. But before we move on to what this box is going to do exactly, who could this Titan be? Well, there are 12 to choose from, so it does get a bit difficult to decide. But if we take a look at its exposed arm and hand, we can find a survey outfit that seems to bear strong resemblance. This character's arms are made entirely of rock and lava, with some spikes near the top of its forearm. Since the hands and arms seem to line up, we can start digging deeper into what Titan this may be. While no Titan will look exact, since Fortnite is going to be making their own versions of characters from Greek mythology, we can still search for clues hinting to their identities. For one, this character is made up of space and stars. More specifically on his face, you can see plenty of stars going up and around his eyes. But focusing on the giant glowing section of his chest, we can find a massive glowing orb of light with huge sweeping rings and lines of energy traveling around it. After the Big Bang, many wondered what exactly happened to the 0 point. Some believe it was dispersed out into the universe, while others believe it was just lying underneath our island yet again. But if a Titan is actually lying beneath our island, what if the 0 point was at its core? The Titan Cronus from Greek myth is actually the Titan of Time, and we know how well that paired with the 0 point. So if this Titan was supposed to be Cronus, the Titan of Time, it would also make sense for the 0 point to be at its core, lying beneath our island. Or, of course, this glowing ball isn't the 0 point. But either way, the most likely option for which Titan this may be is Cronus. Also, Cronus translated to English also means Saturn, which is the planet in our solar system most known for its rings. On the outfit, you can find rings circling the middle of his chest. And finally, all of the Titans are related to planets in the solar system, since that's how they were born. With that being said, this outfit being mostly made up of space and stars makes a whole lot of sense to be a Titan. So we've discussed the fact that Cronus is likely beneath our island, but the Greek hints aren't even close to being done. A brand new figure by the name of ODYSSEY has mysteriously arrived onto our island, and she comes warning of an ancient power growing. As we know, this is likely either the Titan or Pandora's box, but the story doesn't stop there. Our build up to Season 2 of Chapter 5 will consist of completing the ODYSSEY questline. During these quests, we follow the orders of ODYSSEY as she assists us in our search to uncover missing pieces of an ancient mosaic. She tells us that she senses the power emerging on the island, and she feels this same power within the mosaic. As we help her uncover these shattered pieces across the island, we begin to learn more about secrets of chapter 5. The medallions that all of the society members each have actually possess a fraction of this mysterious power, which we can assume is from the chest the Titan will end up holding above the island. With that being said, this could be the reason why Valeria started her search for the chest in the first place. After discovering these medallions and feeling a fraction of its power, she set out to find its source, which is the chest. She also says that the society's secrets are entangled with the mosaic subjects, which is essentially saying that what it's depicting is something the society is related to. But back to the Odyssey quests, once we begin to near its completion, Odyssey tells us that whatever the mosaic is warning us about, I believe Valeria is responsible. This will all make sense once we take a look at the completed mosaic and discuss what it shows us. The final ominous line of these quests is Odyssey's warning about the completed mosaic. If a great change is coming, you will need to ready yourself for it. Prepare yourself for the coming conflict. Before we break down a couple of those lines even further, let's take a look at this completed mosaic. Behold, the loyal watchdog of the Greek underworld, Cerberus. It appears that the three-headed hound from the underworld is being unleashed onto the island, and alongside a ton of souls too, since we can see hands and smoke and skulls flying around it. On the sides of the image, Greek architecture stands tall, further proving that we'll be receiving Greek POIs onto the island. This could also potentially connect to the poster currently at the only Greek POI on the island, Ruin Reels, showcasing a movie titled The Odyssey 6, with what appears to be an Olympus-style location in the background. I could absolutely see this becoming a POI in the future, especially with what we're going to dive into shortly. But before that, this mosaic is super interesting. Cerberus and many more souls from the underworld are being unleashed from the bottom of this picture, where we can see a main skull and a single flame. If you recall, Valeria's powers consist of having the flame of a phoenix. Knowing that, she could easily be represented as the flame below. But why would Valeria be responsible for unleashing all of these evils? Well, that's the classic tale of Pandora's box. Zeus gifted Pandora a box, but told her never to open it. When she did, she unleashed evils across humanity, and that seems to be what's soon to happen in the storyline. Valeria is going to open the box that this mysterious Titan lifts out of the ground, unleashing evils like Cerberus and other dangerous souls, presumably from the underworld. That is what this mosaic is trying to show us. Cerberus and a lot more evils all rising from a single flame at the bottom, Valeria. Another quick thing to note is that the Titan hand will be emerging from the ground live. That means if you're in game when it happens, you'll get to see it break through the ground with the box. After that, we'll all be able to participate in a community event where we can shoot at the chain to break the box free and slowly deplete its health until it drops in another mini live event. Most of the files for these events are encrypted, but Hypex on Twitter revealed that there's going to be animations for the Titan, along with tons of earthquakes and weather storms breaking out when the box drops to the ground and opens. If you weren't convinced already that this was a parallel to Pandora's box, you definitely should be now. Now that we understand what all of this is, we can revisit some of the dialogue about the mosaic. Odyssey's dialogue about Valeria being responsible for whatever the mosaic is showing us makes a lot more sense now. Like I mentioned previously though, she also mentioned that we must prepare ourselves for a coming conflict. Immediately when I hear that we have conflict on the horizon, I think of good versus evil. Pandora's box is unleashing the evil, one side of the conflict. That must mean that we also are going to have a good side arrive to the island too. And the complete opposite of the underworld would be the Olympians, which is to say all of the famous Greek gods and goddesses. If you recall, a while back we got a huge lineup of Greek styled outfits in a concept art survey. Recently, we've seen that most of these are probably coming to the game next season, including Cerberus. But if we have a Greek season on its way, along with a fight between good and evil, surely we'll see some of the popular Greek gods. On screen is a picture of all of the survey outfits that seem to be based on specific gods or goddesses. And while it may seem like we have no idea which of these we'll be seeing in game, I'm here to tell you that we actually have a pretty good idea. So let's hop into what this Battle Pass lineup may look like. Real quick, this is Future Reaper here. Most of this video was written a couple days after the update, so I was going completely off of the leaks that we originally had. But on Tuesday, a hotfix decrypted all of the hidden files related to the Titan, so we were able to see a whole lot about it, including our upcoming Battle Pass outfits. A few things you've seen on screen throughout the video, including the Titan hand emerging and the chest opening, are all from the hotfix we just received. But for the rest of the video, I revised it so it is completely up to date, so don't worry about any outdated information. Alright, now enjoy the rest of the video. When the Titan hand was decrypted, we saw more than just its animations. 8 constellations that represent 8 different gods and 1 creature were also revealed. On Pandora's box, the giant glowing orb actually rotates through these different symbols. I'll break them down real quick. On the top row, we have Zeus's lightning bolts, one of Cerberus's heads, Hades' crown, which we know because because we finally got a high quality look at the front of Pandora's box, which we'll get into in a second. And finally, a heart for Aphrodite. On the bottom row, we've got Poseidon's trident, Medusa's head, Apollo's bow, and finally, Ares' helmet. Given that we have 8 outfits here, it's safe to say that this is going to be our battle pass. To further prove that these are, we should head back to the completed mosaic. The border surrounding the picture has a couple layers to it. The bottom one is a classic Greek design, but above it, we have waves, symbolizing Poseidon. On the left and right sides, we can see lightning bolts, which would be for Zeus. On the top corners, a sun is shown, and on the bottom corners, we can find a harp, a classic Greek instrument. Together, these 4 corners represent Apollo, the god of music, archery, and light. And of course, in the middle, we can see Cerberus. So that means that this mosaic is actually teasing Greek outfits. And with the constellations we'll see on Pandora's box, we know that they'll be a part of our battle pass. Although, there's still another outfit that's floating around. A couple days ago, Wenso on Twitter discovered a wrap texture in the files with a color scheme heavily resembling this survey outfit. So it's very likely that we'll see him next season, although he probably will not be in the battle pass. I am a little unsure what god he may represent, but he came from the same survey, so it's likely that he is related to Greek mythology. But comparing him to Cerberus, we can find one heavy similarity. They both radiate with green power. If we take a look at Valeria's second style, named Stygian, who is the goddess of the underworld, we find that she radiates this same green power. With that being said, it's beginning to look like Fortnite's take on the underworld will be heavily dominated by green. Cerberus will be unleashed from the box, and of course, he's green. This other outfit that matches with a wrap in the files is also green. With this pattern we're seeing, I would be surprised if Hades ends up green too. Finally, 4 murals are carved into the front of the chest. From left to right, we can find Zeus atop Olympus, Ares with his shield and spear, Cerberus, and finally, Hades with tons of souls clawing up his outfit and around what looks to be his own kingdom from the underworld. While there isn't too much we can break down about these, it is nice to get a better look at some of our upcoming main characters. And to round off the video, Pandora's box opens up and unleashes a beam of light, and inside it are skulls and souls circling around, finally free from their prison. That's about it for today, Reapers. I hope you enjoyed the video and you're excited for what's to come in Season 2. By the time this video is uploaded, the Titan hand may already be above the surface, so I'll be sure to cover that over on my Twitter, and there's a link in the description if you'd like to follow me there. Thanks so much for watching. Consider using my code TLL the Reaper in the item shop. Until next time, keep it reaping.